Hey guys, welcome back to another video. Today's video is another installment of why a certain character deserves better, and today I'm focusing on Claudia from Interview with the Vampire. I love the entire Anne Rice universe, but they did Claudia dirty. In every iteration of Claudia, from the book to the movie to the musical and the show, but in every iteration, Claudia doesn't get a happy ending. Now, I understand that in the book she doesn't get a happy ending and they base it off the book, but you know, it would be nice to give her a happy ending or a happier life. Something like that. Book Claudia is 5 years old. Curly blonde hair, bright blue eyes, a porcelain doll, if you will. Louis has been feeding on rats for many years and finds Claudia crying next to her dead mother who died of plague. He loses control and basically kills Claudia. Lestat catches them, thinks it's the most hilarious thing, and decides, you know what, I'm gonna turn her into a vampire. Now he does this because Louis has been thinking of leaving Lestat for quite some time. Lestat doesn't like that and decides, you know what'll fix it? A kid. He turns a 5-year-old into a vampire. Why, in anyone's mind, would think that's a good idea? I don't know. He turns Claudia, and it works for a while. Louis really cares for Claudia. They grow quite close, and it kind of helps keep the family together. However, as Claudia grows older, her mind ages, but her body doesn't. So she becomes quite angry and depressed over the fact that she'll never be an adult. And it grows on her that she's stuck this way, and it's Lestat's fault. So her anger grows into a murder plot. She poisons 2 boys, feeds them to Lestat. He goes, and she slits his throat, I believe. However, it didn't work. They're really bad at killing people. They travel to Europe to try and find vampires, and they finally do. The Theater of Vampires in Paris. However, Lestat travels to the theater, finds them there, and goes, hey, they tried to kill me. Armand takes this as time to die, and kills Claudia by putting her out in the sun. She was turned in 1794, and she died in 1875 at around 81. She was a 5-year-old vampire for almost a century. Oh my god. Now the movie goes off of this plot quite religiously, aside from a few small details. The actress who plays Claudia, Kristen Dunst, who many people know from the Tobey Maguire Spider-Man and all the other work she's done since then. She was 11 years old when she took on the role of Claudia, mostly because the director didn't think a 5-year-old could really comprehend like the deepness of what is happening, so he went a little older. I don't know at what age she's supposed to be in the movie, but the actress was 11. She is blonde-haired, blue-eyed. She's turned in almost exactly the same manner. Louis finds her with her dead mother, almost kills her. Lestat thinks it's hilarious and turns her into a vampire. It's basically a carbon copy aside from Claudia being a little older. She attacks Lestat in quite the same way, poisons some kids, he feeds on them, she slits his throat, they throw him in a swamp. He comes back and they light the house on fire. Fail. They do find the Theater of Vampires, however, I don't think Lestat is ever brought up. He doesn't show up during this time. The theater just, I think, figures it out. And Louis is trapped in a coffin, and Claudia and her companion, Madeline, are burned in the sun. In the 2002 adaptation of Queen of the Damned, they don't even bring up Claudia. It's like, dude, that's okay. But they do bring her up in the 2006 Lestat musical. Now, she is not a giant part of this musical because it mostly goes off Lestat's life rather than Claudia's. However, she is in Act 2. Her mother is dying of plague and she is sick. Lestat finds her and goes, I can help you. He feeds on her and brings her home to Louis. Here you go, here's a present. Here's a daughter for us to share so you don't leave. Louis's been thinking of leaving Lestat. He doesn't feel happy with his vampire life, and Lestat thinks maybe, just maybe, this will save it. Now, Alison Fisher played Claudia in the musical, and she was 17 at the time. I don't know how old the Claudia version of her she was supposed to be. She is dressed like a little girl, so I have a feeling they were going toward maybe 10, a little younger with her, but the actress was 17 at the time. And things go as you would think. He turns Claudia to glue their relationship back together, and it doesn't work, like it never does. She becomes very bloodthirsty in her life and realizes that she's never going to get older. And she gets angry at Lestat, for obvious reasons. She poisons him, but before this, he actually apologizes, which does not happen in the book or the movie. He apologized for doing it, which I was like, wow, that's new. She doesn't really take it to heart, poisons him, slits his throat, and Louis lights the house on fire. So they kind of combined the two rather than having it be two separate events. They just happened it all at the same time. They travel to Europe looking for vampires. Lestat lives from this attack and heads to the Theater of Vampires, where he finds Claudia and Louis already there. Now he mentions to Armand, hey, Claudia tried to murder me. And Armand takes this as, well, she has to die, so they kill her. Because of course! Now, in this version, Lestat actually pleads with Armand not to do this. He does it anyway. It breaks Louis' heart, and Louis just leaves, leaving Lestat on his own. And the rest of the play, there's not much left to it, but Louis is gone, Claudia is dead, and Lestat is alone. In the AMC TV show, Claudia is 14 years old. Her house is on fire, and Louis comes across it, and he saves her from the flames. However, she is badly burned, and she's going to die. So he pleads with Lestat to turn her. So instead of it being Lestat's choice to turn Claudia to kind of keep Louis with him, it was Louis' idea. Lestat didn't even want to do it. So that, I think, was a very interesting change, because it wasn't like Lestat trying to glue their relationship together. It was Louis who did it. This happened in 1917. She finds a boy that she actually really likes, who is older than her physical body is, and she actually really likes him. However, she loses control and kills him. She pleads with Lestat to save him, but it's kind of too late for that now, and he throws Charlie into the incinerator and makes her watch. And this was when she really, it dawned on her that she was stuck as a 14-year-old girl. And her mind was aging, but her body wasn't. So she tries to leave out on her own, but it doesn't end well, and she comes back. And then, she wants to travel to Europe to find other vampires, because Lestat kind of sucks. He doesn't have any answers to anything that she has. He doesn't take this kindly, and starts, being really mean to Claudia. Louis steps in, and Lestat beats the shit out of him. Then he runs off. Claudia, helps heal Louis. And Lestat is basically like a puppy, sending gifts, being like, please love me again, please love me again. And Louis, having the soft spot for Lestat, he does eventually gives in to him. But Claudia can't. She tries to leave again, and this time Lestat actually forces her to come back. And this was the last straw for her. She decided then that it was time to kill him. They have this giant party and celebration to try and trick him. They poison some people for him to feed on, and they slit his throat. Now, the way to actually kill him would have been to burn the body, and Claudia wanted to burn the body, but Louis couldn't bring himself to do it, I think, because deep down, he didn't actually want to kill Lestat. So he locked him in a chest, threw him in a dump, and they left on their way. However, of course, it didn't kill him. This comes back to bite them in the ass about 10-ish years later. They're in Paris. Louis is in love with Armand. Claudia is performing in the theater and having, the time of her life. And Armand figures out pretty quickly that they had killed Lestat, but he hides it from the rest of the group. However, the group gets suspicious. They look in Claudia's diaries and figure it out. This turns into Armand making a choice, and he chooses to give them to the vampires. So, Claudia, Madeline, and Louis are kidnapped, which... they're kidnapped and put on trial in front of a live audience, and it ends with Claudia and Madeline dying. Now, I think this version was a lot sadder than the original, because in the original, she is basically trapped and alone, and they don't really have a trial. It's just execution. However, in the show, they actually had a trial, and it it really just hurt. In the book, he actually travels with Armand after he ordered Claudia to be murdered. In the movie, it seems like that's the route it's going. However, it does change, and I don't believe that Louis travels with Armand. I think they go their separate ways. And in the musical, she dies, they go their separate ways, and Armand actually makes fun of Lestat for what happened. There's no budding relationship there. It's kind of like a ha-ha. And in the show, Louis gets with Armand. He was with Armand before this happened, and the fact that he stayed with Armand after this happened blows my fucking mind, because it was Armand's doing that they got kidnapped, that this whole trial happened, that Claudia died. Claudia is never Louis' first choice. In every iteration, he chooses someone else over her. Every single time. Whether it's Lestat, or Armand, or someone else, but it's always someone else. She is never choice number one, and all she has ever wanted, other than growing up, which is impossible because they turned a goddamn child, which is also a rule that is brought up, that children are not allowed to become vampires. You're not supposed to turn children. For obvious reasons, Lestat didn't listen, he turned a child. That was one reason she was killed. The other reason was, you're not allowed to kill another vampire. Like, especially your maker, but you're not, like, that's one of the rules, is you can't kill another vampire, not another one of your kind. And she did that. So both of those reasons got her killed. In the show, she was part of the Theater of Vampires, and they made her play a little kid. They made her play a baby. She is an adult stuck in a baby body, and it's horrible. In every iteration, this never should have happened. Whether it was Lestat or Louis that caused her to become a vampire, someone turns a kid into a vampire. In the book, she's 5, which is so much worse. At least in the show and the movie, she was 10 and 14, so she was a little older. She at least, had something to go off of. But 5? Being a vampire for 80 plus years as a 5-year-old? I can't even imagine her mind just cracking. She's never anyone's first choice. She's stuck in the body of a child, and her mind is growing older than her. It's sad. And I would just love just one iteration where she doesn't die. Maybe they make her older. 14? Not great. Could be worse, right? But they let her live. Now, obviously, they kill her because she tried to kill Lestat. And she's a child. Those two things, not a great combo. Neither one is good. Both together is horrible. But it's like, come on, guys. Can't she just have, one moment of happiness? Every time that I watch, moments when I was watching season 2 and, Claudia was finally, happy. When they first got to the theater and she got to, be with them and hunt with them, she was so happy. And that slowly disappeared because Louis spent more time with Armand. She was doing menial chores at the theater, and then when she finally got the limelight, she was stuck as a baby. She never got to have the happy ending, and when she finally found Madeline, she thought maybe, just maybe, she could have a companion that would choose her over everyone else. She had that for such a short amount of time, and then gone. In the movie, I believe she has Madeline as a vampire for hours, maybe a day, and then they get taken and killed. I don't know how long Madeline is a vampire in the show. I'm thinking at least a week, if not 2, maybe longer. Maybe it's been months. Maybe it's been a year. I don't know. But she at least got something with Madeline, and then they get kidnapped because of stupid Armand. He's stupid. He's really dumb. I hate him. Dude! I get why they have these rules, and I understand what happened, but it's like, come on, guys, just let Claudia live her life. It wasn't her choice to become a vampire. Someone else chose it for her. She's stuck in a little girl's body. Her mind is growing older than she is, and she just wants something to make her feel happy. But no, she doesn't get to have that. Her ending is so goddamn sad. When I watched the movie for the first time, I cried. And when I watched the show, and I watched her burn up on that stage, I cried again. And Claudia always is the little girl who dies. It happens all the time. Now, the only way that she wouldn't die is if they changed the book. So I get it. I understand. But it's also like, could we give her a happy ending at least a little? Something? Like, come on. I think the most heartbreaking moment is in the last episode of the show when it comes to this event, because in every iteration, Lestat never apologizes for Claudia. As far as my knowledge goes, he doesn't apologize. In the musical, he does. He actually apologizes to Claudia. He even apologizes after. He even pleads with Armand not to kill Claudia. In the musical, he's probably the most humane version of Lestat, and no one even knows about the musical. But in the show, he did. He actually felt so bad that it haunted him for many years afterward. When Louis finally meets back up with Lestat, Lestat is broken. He's a broken man. He's playing piano on a goddamn piece of wood, right? But he talks about how it haunts him, that he was never a father to Claudia, that the look in her eyes when she was about to die, when she looked at him, it broke him. And I think that was the most beautiful moment, because Claudia's life sucked. And the fact that Lestat actually, like, apologized or felt bad, it was just like a moment of, finally! Obviously, in the book, it is written that she's a 5-year-old little girl that Louis loses control on, that Lestat turns her to glue their relationship back together. It doesn't work. Her mind grows, but her body doesn't. She tries to kill Lestat, and that causes her life. In the movie, it's the same. They kill her because she killed him. And in the show, same thing. She gets a slice of happiness with Madeline, and then it's gone. There was something there that they just connected to. Their loss, their pain. They were puzzle pieces that fit together, and were taken too soon. Obviously, they're going off the book. And in the book, that's Claudia's story. The only way you're going to get a different story is if they change the book. I understand. I get it. But it's heartbreaking every single time I see it, because it's like, she deserves better. This is still, like, strong on my mind. I just finished the show a few days ago, so I'm still strong in my feelings. And it's just, I will be doing another video on Interview with the Vampire Season 2. I did a 2-part series last year, I think, comparing the book to the show, and I will be doing that again with Season 2. The video should be out in a few weeks. I have to research and get all my points together, but I'm really excited about it. It's different, but I like it. I'm not a super fan when it comes to the Anne Rice universe, but I do love those characters, and this show is different. But my god, is the acting good. Like, oh my god. Alright guys, I hope you enjoyed this video. I'll be back again next week with another one. See you later.